Ahoy everyone, and welcome back to Dev Diaries for CK3. This is Dev Diary number 2, the medieval map. Hello everyone. I would like to take a moment to talk about the map of Crusader Kings 3, what the vision for the map is, and how it is different from CK2. Let's start with our ambition. CK2 had several parts of the map that were outdated and, to be frank, a bit underdeveloped. When we started to update the map for CK3, we knew that we wanted to take a pass at everything, do additional research, and update the different areas accordingly. This goes for the entire de jure title hierarchy, so there are several new kingdoms and duchies present. In terms of scope, the map will roughly match that of CK2. I know I will disappoint those of you hoping for China, but sadly, it will not be on the map. We will, however, have a few new additions. The entirety of Tibet will be present, unlike CK2, where the most eastern parts were excluded, and Sub-Saharan Africa is also extended, where we've gone all the way to the Nigerian coast. When setting the map visuals, province layouts, rivers, and more, the focus has always been on clarity. The map should be easy to read and get information from. For example, you should be able to read most of the terrain simply by looking at the map without the need to click on the province or tooltip it in order to find out. While rivers should be easy to see and let you know if you will cross when moving armies around. That's definitely not something in CK2 that's easy to tell. You always have to go digging around in some menus to figure out where the river crossings from province to province are and what the actual terrain is. We represent the map on 3 different zoom levels. When zoomed far out, the map will turn into an actual paper map, allowing for an easy overview and stylish screenshots. Zoom in a bit and you will have the 3D map with the typical political overlay, great for interacting with your vassals and other realms. Zoom in even further and you will see the names of all the counties along with the terrain as we strip away the realm colors, perfect for moving armies around and knowing where to pick your battles, without the need to switch around to different map modes. But don't worry, we still have several map modes for easily accessing different information. Now, that I'm not so sure how I feel about. In the past, Paradox has always given us a plethora of map modes to display the information we wanted. I always liked that. I never had an issue with switching between map modes. Definitely seems like this time around, they might be shooting for far fewer, kind of in the same, mindset of Stellaris or Hearts of Iron 4. Tried to cram that information onto the screen in fewer map modes, which, in my experience at least, it usually ends up a cluttered map with information less accessible to you. But we will have to wait and see. I digress. One of the most notable changes is how we handle baronies. In CK, I'm very interested in this because for what I've seen so far, I did not like how they're doing baronies, but let's read this paragraph and see what they have to say. In CK2, counties were the smallest entity we had on the map, a province, if you will, with several baronies represented through the interface in the county view, which I was fine with. I never had any issue with that. In CK3, we took the next logical step and made baronies into their own provinces. We have been able to create a map with much more granularity and better accuracy. Most counties will normally consist of 2 to 5 baronies, with some exceptions. The amount of provinces will be noticeable when waging war, as it offers a larger degree of movement for your armies. More on that in the future. So this definitely feels more imperatory, where they basically broke it down into another subcategory where you can move around. And again, I'm in the camp that I didn't necessarily like. I feel like I would like that granularity, but in Imperator it just didn't feel like it worked right. Let's continue on, and then we'll get into our discussion. To give you a good idea of the increased province density, here's a comparison of the British Isles in CK2 and CK3 being on the left and right side, respectively. So with the right-hand map, you can clearly see, especially if you look at Ireland or Southern England, or some areas of Scotland even on the east coast there, you can clearly see the density of the provinces in there. I'm very curious as what the interaction is going to be, because it definitely seems like, it says in the next paragraph here, I can see it already, that you can't play as a baron. So the counties are still the smallest, digestible bite. Interesting. I'm imagining that means that the baronies have to stay within the county. That's got to be that, yeah. The baronies have to stay within the county. So you're going to have to, you're still going to be working on the same county level. I honestly wonder if you took the CK3 map and we're just looking at the counties and not the baronies, if it would be more or less granular. I'd have to, I have nothing to base this off of, but I feel like it actually might be less granular. Anywho, let's continue on to the next paragraph. Before you all go nuts about playable baronies, no, you cannot play as a baron. That's what I was talking about. I just read that sentence while I was talking. The lowest playable rank will still be that of a count. The emphasis will therefore be on the counties rather than individual baronies. As such, baronies exist with a few things in mind. For example, they can never leave a county. That's what we were just talking about. This means counties stay the same over time, avoiding weird splits where a single barony goes independent or to another realm, reducing the hideous border gore ever so slightly. The number of baronies within a county is one factor that represents its wealth and how good it is. Another important factor is the terrain. A county with a lot of desert will not be as beneficial as one with a lot of farmlands, for example. That I am interested in. That seems like a very, kind of EU4 or Imperator style of thinking there, where the actual, where the terrain is more than just a combat modifier. It will actually have some effect on the, administration of the land. I like that. That I definitely like. Speaking of terrain, we have several different terrain types spread out across the map. Instead of having a single terrain spread out across large areas of the map, we differentiate between terrain types by separating them, such as forest or taiga or plains and drylands. Not only does it make the map look and feel distinct in different parts of the world, they also have different impact on gameplay. Okay. I think I'm going to need more information on that. I understand what they're saying. Visually, it's going to look different in different areas, which is nice. But I mean, in all honesty, they're showing all these glamour shots of the 3D map mode, and we all know that every single Paradox players, well, not every, I'm going to say the vast majorities of Paradox players start up a game and immediately put it on political map mode, so they don't actually have to look at their terrain like that. Then we have impassable terrain. These are far more frequent, and in many cases, much larger than you will be used to in CK2. That is something I do like as well. We've essentially used these for any area that we consider uninhabited enough to warrant it not being part of an existing county. Some areas have plenty of smaller impassable provinces, such as mountains surrounding Bohemia, while others have fewer and far larger pieces of inhospitable land, such as the deserts of Arabia and Syria. Impassable terrain cannot be traversed by armies, often creating bottlenecks that you'll have to pass through or perhaps even choose to go around, should it be heavily fortified. So to me, there's some positives and there's some negatives in this from my point of view, at least, my personal opinions on the matter. They're clearly moving towards a newer style of gameplay or game development, a new strategy, if you will, going into these newer games. That is a departure from the old games where they're trying to cram all of the information into fewer map modes. That I'm not a very big fan of. What I would really love to be able to do is have access to all of those map modes and simply be able to overlay multiple map modes together if possible, so that I could see the information that I wanted at the time with a simple click of a button, and then another simple unclick of the button to take away or add on a different overlay onto the map instead of just being able to see one. That's what I would really like to see. Them trying to get as much information as possible onto the 3D map is not something I feel is a good way of displaying information to me. And if any of you have followed me before, you know I'm a crotchety old man who likes my older style of games. I like the map to look like a map, and to be simple and to just show me the information I want to see easy at a quick glance. And I don't like having all the extra stuff on there that is not entirely necessary all the time. Like being able to see the baronies on the map, that is definitely something that is an Imperator style of thing. And I know CK3 was in development longer than Imperator, but Imperator came out first, so I'm going to keep referring to it in that chronological kind of way. They both share that design strategy. And in Imperator, I initially loved that idea, that granularity to the map, but in practice, it has it didn't have much of an effect on the map, on the gameplay. Now, that could easily be because of the lackluster combat in Imperator, or the fact that a lot of the terrain and things like that were weirdly balanced, and didn't really work as intended there when it came out. That could be it. So it could be perfectly fine here, but not really loving that. On the other hand, I do like that they're making the terrain more impactful on the game. I would love to see greater combat characteristics for types of units from different terrains. I would love to be able to actually have the types of terrain affect the economy, which was mentioned. I really do like that. So for me, this is a mixed bag. I see a lot of things I like in here, but I also see things that I'm used to from like Hearts of Iron 4 and Imperator that I did not like that are clearly going to be in this. But like I said, overall mixed bag. This down here at the bottom, this last section, the Impassable terrain, I do like that. I love the idea of heavily fortifying a mountain pass and trying to hold that from the enemy. I'm playing my current CK2 game. I'm playing in a very, very, very mountainous area. And the mountain terrain is it works differently than it does in EU4. In EU4, if you own the province or if you own the fortification on a province, you get the terrain bonus no matter what. In CK2, the way it works right now, you do not. And I have all mountain terrain. I have one plains province and just all mountains. So my wars tend to be very difficult, especially if the enemy can get to my capital, because it's a mountain province. I have to attack into a mountain to get the enemy off of me. I would like to see, a heavily fortified mountain pass definitely give those types of buffs to the person who owns the fort, kind of things like that. But that was not touched on in this, so we're just going to have to hold our opinions on that until we have more information. A little bit of a short one here today, which is why I spent a little bit more time rambling than on the last one. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section, and I will see all of you next time.